Finally! Nintendo's actually showing us the Switch 2. It's not a rumor anymore, it's the real deal. And we have a date to count down to, April 2nd. It sure took a while, but the Switch is officially on its way out. Nintendo fans, rejoice! We have a confirmed new console, a confirmed Nintendo Direct, inevitable new Nintendo games coming out. It's a great time to be a Nintendo fan, so join me, this new Nintendo YouTuber right here. I certainly have the look for it, don't I? Join me, we're going to go through all of it right now, smash all those scroll buttons, like, subscribe, share, do it all. Do it all for me. Why not? It's going to be super fun. Let's get into it. The sad reality of the Switch is that it essentially was the Wii U 2 for diehard Nintendo fans like myself. Let me explain, because with no knowledge, that is an absurd take. But if you think about it, Nintendo almost deliberately punished their fans who purchased the Wii U. They re-released every high-market Wii U game for the Switch, and they treated them like they were new releases. And when you do that, you leave the small portion of Wii U owners in the dust, because then we have to buy these games again. I've been playing the same damn Mario Kart game for 10 years. Oh great, a new funky mode in my Donkey Kong country? Let me act excited. At least with 3D World, they gave us Bowser's Fury, which is like an appetizer. Crumbs, if you want to be an ass about it. There is no more hiding you can do behind re-releases. This is a new console, the Switch 2. It is going to be a different animal and the same beast, and I couldn't be more excited. If you ask me, everything is at play here. Brand new entries from our favorite series, potential throwbacks remade from older generations, small things like the new startup screen, the lobby before the games, what the games are going to look like, the specs, the technology, the third-party support. I haven't felt this giddy since the Wii was released. The Wii U smelled bad from the jump. They came out at E3 and their big game on the Wii U was another new Super Mario Bros. That looked exactly the same as the one on the Wii. After all of that, Nintendo fans had basically lost faith in the Switch, so when that was a success, we were more shocked. But now, you have the world in your palm, and everybody is asking Nintendo, how are you going to mess this up? I mean, not really, but I'd be lying if it's not in the back of our minds. The very fact that they're calling it the Switch 2 is very reminiscent of the Wii U, which, as we all know, was bad. I personally love the Wii U, alright? I'm a regular Scott the Woz. This thing is awesome. It's so comfortable in your hands. But we can all agree it was a major disappointment financially for Nintendo, even though all of the hardware was fantastic. So fantastic that as soon as they ported it over to the Switch, it was successful. And now in 2025, we have to think, what are we doing here? Nintendo is playing this thing super safe. It doesn't look much different from the Switch, and the normies like my dad and brother, they see this design and they're not excited. It looks exactly the same as the Switch. Why would you go buy another one? To them, a new Mario Kart also isn't a system seller. So they're not really that impressed with anything that they've seen yet, which is why this Direct is so important. Me, on the other hand, I mean, what do you think? I'm going to buy it day one. Just look at how I chose to make my room. Obviously, I'm going to buy it as soon as it comes out. It's not a shocker. I'm wearing a freaking Pikmin corduroy hat. I don't think nobody that owns this hat is not going to buy the Switch day one unless they're a child, and then they'll beg their parents to buy it day one. It's sad to say, but I believe the breadcrumbs are there for a failure. On some level, Nintendo fans have to brace themselves for some negativity, because we've had it good for far too long, and Nintendo has truly milked the Switch cow for all she's worth, and then some. Nintendo consoles usually only have a lifespan of 5 years. The Switch 1 is almost going to double that. While I hope we don't see a failure, I think for the first time in 8 years, the pressure is on for this Nintendo Direct. It will come down to what we see and what we don't see, and that may make or break the entire system. First impressions are huge. Let's go through a list of things that we will see, things that we should see, and things that I want to see in this Nintendo Direct. I'm going to be upfront honest with all of you. I'm going to be treating this like it's E3, like it's a big event for the company. And, you know, I'm not sure if Nintendo's going to be doing the same thing. They should, because for the first time in 8 years, the stakes are high. You have a first impression with your new console. and it's going to be really hard if you fumble that first impression and you don't do a good job. So hopefully they have the same mentality I have, and they're treating this like an E3. I mean, we'll see. Let's start off with what we will see. I'm going to give you a Nick Vez guarantee on these next couple of bullet points of things that I know we will be seeing. First and foremost, I think they'll run through the specs, give us a real breakdown of how powerful this device is and what level of output we should be expecting. Maybe a bit of a tech demo cutscene so we can see how beautiful this baby looks. They did something similar with the Wii U, and I remember being underwhelmed at the time. We all know Nintendo's usually behind the 8-ball on the graphical advancements, but we know that it will be better than the Switch, which in my opinion looks really fantastic at times. So I'm excited for that. We all should be getting a release date as well, a price tag, and some sort of bundle day one. Maybe they do 2 versions and one of them comes with Mario Kart 9 for a slightly less high price than if you were to buy both separately. Some type of bundle I think will be good to put into this presentation. We are going to see Metroid Prime 4. We saw the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailer about 8 months ago. The game is being made by Retro Studios, the same team behind all of the other Metroid Prime games, and it looks legit. Metroid as a franchise always sells okay, solid numbers, nothing groundbreaking like Zelda or Mario. However, all signs point to this being a launch title, which will bump up these Metroid numbers because people who are hungry to try anything on their new console will buy a couple games that they might not buy otherwise, just to have some stash to go to when they boot up their new toy. Something Nintendo likes to do with these launch titles sometimes is release them simultaneously on the old console and the new one. They did it with Breath of the Wild on the Wii U and the Switch. They did it to sell Twilight Princess on the GameCube and the Wii, and it always seems so weird when you see a Breath of the Wild Wii U game sitting around. Yeah, only weirdos have Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I'm a weirdo. My hot take with Metroid Prime 4 is you should not do that strategy. Release it exclusively on the Switch 2 to maximize Switch 2 sales and maximize Metroid Prime 4 sales on the Switch 2. Maybe you're losing some customers on the Switch. I understand that, but for the console's sake, you should exclusively release Metroid Prime 4 on Switch 2 or S2. You know, I feel like Switch 2 doesn't roll off the tongue. Maybe maybe we play with S2 a little bit, you know? How's that sound? Does it work? I don't know. Next up on S2, Mario Kart 9. With a whole new theme and a slew of characters is on the way. I think this will be the first game they show off since we already kind of saw a sneak peek of it in that Switch 2 reveal trailer. We will see more characters and maps. I would imagine they go into some sort of Mario Wonder aesthetic. Maybe even pull some levels from Odyssey, which we really didn't see. New characters as well. I think they'll show that. Just a couple of them. I'm not going to get my hopes up for like Mona from WarioWare or Gino from Mario RPG. But, I mean, I'm going to toss my hat in the ring and throw in a couple predictions right here. Dixie Kong. I think more Kongs make sense with the new theme park. Kirby. If they're going to keep adding characters like Link and Isabelle, Kirby is a no-brainer. Professor Egad. Luigi's Mansion and the mainline Mario games are so close as the two series could be. The lack of Egad in these games is kind of bizarre. Would have rather him in Double Dash than Petey Piranha and you do a Egad King Boo team, which I know canonically doesn't really make sense, but that would have been awesome. And then, I think they're going to try to do something really new here, and they're going to try to throw in like Sonic, which would be a really cool idea. Also, since everybody in this Mario Kart looks chibi-esque, very Mario Wonder style, it would be really cool if they had classic Sonic in here. It's just a thought. I don't think Sonic's going to be in. That's not one of my guarantees. But just more Mario Kart 9, just a little bit more than just what we saw earlier, is going to be shown. And then my final guarantee is we'll see some kind of wild card game, something like ARMS, maybe a dead franchise comes back to life like Star Fox or F-Zero. Just one shocker game, first party, that will get us all a little excited. My guess isn't really super fun, but it's a Switch Fit with a full board. Shockingly, the sales of Ring Fit are super high, and Nintendo, first and foremost, is a family company. So it would make a lot of sense for them to start the console off with an extra piece of hardware that you need to buy, like the board, and then also some type of family-friendly fitness game. So to me, Switch Fit seems like a real natural wild card thing to throw into this Direct. Oh, and since they just announced Pokemon ZA on Switch 1, that will likely be released on Switch 2 simultaneously. Getting an early Pokemon game on the system will be great for everyone involved, but don't get me started on Pokemon as a whole. I think they rush these games out. They do not look good. It doesn't matter, though, because people buy them no matter what, so getting one of these on the Switch, yeah, you know, Switch 2, it's gonna happen. Sure, I think these games are bad. I'm sorry. Then after first-party stuff, they'll go into third-party support, which has been lackluster for Nintendo for quite some time. If you want to play a true Madden game on a Nintendo console, you have to go all the way back to the GameCube, which I highly recommend, because the soundtrack for those Madden games on the GameCube, just 10 out of 10s. We'll see some stuff from Sega. We'll see the new Sonic Racing Crossworlds game, probably another trailer or just footage of it running on the Switch 2. That game, in my opinion, looks a little bit like a mess. I really wish they just straight up made a straight sequel to Sonic Riders. I'm probably going to do a retrospective on that game soon, so like and subscribe for that, everybody. But we're also probably going to get EA coming back to work with Nintendo, so Madden, NHL, 2K, all the sports games, which is really important for just the general audience. We'll see some anime games, as we always do. We're expecting those in these Nintendo Directs at this point. Oh, and Marvel Rivals. Maybe we see that working on the Switch 2. Rivals has been a game that's just totally blown up and has been cross-platform, multi-platform, which has been absent on the Switch. So to see that on the Switch 2, I think will be really big for the public audience as well. Now we're going to go into what we should see in this Direct. I think the above-mentioned games that I just talked about are not enough. You need to bring in another heavy hitter, and maybe even two heavy hitters to the table in order for this to be a successful Direct. There are two big games that are just staring us in the face. Smash 6 and the new 3D Mario. With Smash 6, I just think the slightest tease possible, maybe just the mentioning that the game is in development is enough. Something Smash 6 related is a must. You have to let the people know this game is in development. And then the 3D Mario, another one where you have to let the fans know something is a brewing. I think a trailer from one of these two games would be massive. A trailer for both would be a home run, but I don't think we're going to get that. Mario 3D I would put higher than Smash just because it's Mario. It's the system seller. He is the guy. And I've talked to a buddy about this, and we don't really know where you can go. He suggested time travel. I would love to see them explore more of the Mushroom Kingdom in 3D, like how we saw them do it in Mario 64. But barely. I mean, that's all inside the castle. Show us Mario's house. Show us the DK world from the movie. Daisy's world from Mario Land. Basically a deep dive into the Mario lore. But hey, you know, I think the people would get almost as excited for a Galaxy 3 or Sunshine 2 if that's what you wanted to do as well. Something 3D Mario has to be shown, and some type of Smash 6 tease. Both ideally, but one or the other to make this a successful Direct. Now, most Directs will stop here, but I'm going to throw a couple more little, you know, like sprinkles on the Peach's cake in Mario Party 1. A cherry, if you will, of a couple extra things that I think that they should add that will really just push this over the top. By no means do I think we will be getting all of these. I think just one of them will suffice. I'm going to start off with Donkey Kong, my main man. I think a new DK game makes the most sense with the theme park coming out. I get they just re-released Donkey Kong Country Returns again, but that's not what I'm talking about. Something brand new with the ape. We're done with the remakes. Moving on, I think a new Pikmin game, too, makes a lot of sense for Nintendo. Pikmin 4 was really good for them, and they love Pikmin. They're all over the Mario and DK theme parks for some reason. A quick sequel after 4 to give us 5 as an early release for the Switch 2 would be fantastic for the series. Remember, Pikmin started as a launch title for the GameCube, so it would make sense for it to be a launch title on this new console as well. Similar to Metroid, Pikmin doesn't sell super great, it sells okay. but a close title to the launch would help its series sales skyrocket. I also think a WarioWare game feels really easy and quick to make. I have no idea if they are or not, but considering most games I've been laying out so far are one-player games, a WarioWare game is very much a party game, which is great for the console to have one of those out the gate. Wacky, zany minigames, maybe make it less expensive than a regular Switch 2 game. They released Game & Wario for the Wii U to show off the Wii U hardware when that came out. So something like that with the Switch 2 and have a good brand name like WarioWare attached, I think that would get people excited. And then in the same vein as a party game, any of the Mario sports games or even a Mario Party, give us a golf, a tennis, a baseball with emphasis on the baseball. Dude, maybe even a Mario football. I've been dreaming about the possibilities of what that game could look like literally since kindergarten. It just doesn't make sense since football is really only an American sport. But truly, doesn't matter. Mario Baseball has garnered this cult following over the years. So a new Mario Baseball to start off on this console, also the baseball season is right around the corner, that would be a home run, pun intended. This next one, it's just for me and the millennials, but humor me for a second. A new Banjo-Kazooie, a Diddy Kong Racing remake, or a Donkey Kong 64 remake. Basically something with Rareware involved. We've heard that Xbox games are going to be multi-platform anyway. Why not make a Banjo-Kazooie game and show it off at the Nintendo Direct? That would be hitting your target audience right where you want them. You can release it on the Xbox and the Switch simultaneously. I know, I'm living in a pipe dream if I think that this is going to actually happen, but, it absolutely would bring the house down. Think of when they revealed King K. Rool or Banjo at the Nintendo New York store. That is the type of reaction this would garner. This is a lot. I am in full acknowledgement that is a lot. And we usually don't get nearly this much in a Nintendo Direct, but I think it's totally fair to treat this like it's a true E3 moment for the company. You're doubling down on the Switch branding, and the last time you did that with a successful console, you doubled down on the Wii, and you gave us the Wii U, and it was a huge financial disappointment. It did not work out well. So you have to come out guns a-blazing, and you have to come in hot, and you have to put your cards on the table and say, this is what we're doing, it's going to be successful, look at the work we've been putting in. Nintendo, I have high hopes that you're going to do the right thing and knock this out of the park. Don't prove the haters right. Please, please, please. Maybe use Sabrina Carpenter in a commercial, She mentions you switch it up like Nintendo, too. Right there for you. I think you're going to do the right thing, and I'm so excited for this Direct in April. Thank you so much for watching, by the way. Like and subscribe. Do all that stuff like I mentioned earlier. You guys rule. I'm brand new to this Nintendo YouTuber stuff, but, I really like doing it, so I dropped a couple videos a couple weeks ago, and just to see the little bit of traction on them has been really, really satisfying, so just want to give a shout out to you all. Thank you for watching and caring, and subscribe.